Alright, we're actually here. After months of lockdowns, midweek races, doubleheaders, and plainly, just one of the weirdest seasons in NASCAR history, actually one of the weirdest seasons in sports history, we're just days away from knowing the 2020 NASCAR playoff grid. This year, we'll be watching the grid be set at a completely different spot, the high banks of the Daytona International Speedway. It's sure to be crazy, but before we get to that, it will be good to set the stage for the regular season finale. There are 13 drivers who have locked up spots, 10 on wins and 3 on points. This leaves 3 spots open, potentially for 17 drivers to go for. 5 are on the points bubble, while the rest all need a win. So let's start off and see who's in the points battle. In 14th, there's Clint Boyer, who's currently in the playoffs right now by 57 points. Of anyone in this video, he is the one that's in the best position to make it. If a driver above the current cut line wins, Boyer just needs to start the race and he'll be in. The most points that anybody below the cut line like Jimmie Johnson could get is 55 points in this scenario. Not enough to catch him and break that 57-point gap. If someone 17th on back in points wins, then Boyer just merely needs to finish 34th or better to lock up a spot on points. This is all with the assumption that he earned no stage points as well. And seeing how he hasn't finished below 34th at Daytona since the 2014 Daytona 500, there's almost a 100% chance in my opinion that he makes it. Though, no one should pencil him in right now due to Daytona's unpredictability. Next, we're going to get to the more interesting bubble driver scenarios. 15th currently in the points is Matt Benedetto. He's 9 points over the cutoff line. Benedetto probably has the worst momentum of any driver on this bubble cutoff line. After the Michigan doubleheader, he was 57 points, almost a full race worth of points over the bubble cut line. In 3 races, he lost a combined 48 points. That is 16 points per race. He is not just bleeding points, he's flat out hemorrhaging them. If he does need to rely on points, he'll be racing against Byron and Jimmie Johnson. To stay ahead of Byron, he needs to outscore him by 5 points. And to stay ahead of Johnson, he needs to outscore him by 10 points. Benedetto is very, hit or miss at Daytona. He'll either finish poorly or get a top 10. With how this season has gone for him so far and how it's trending, a win is probably, while unlikely, the best playoff scenario for him. Now, the final spot is currently held by Byron. Byron is trying to repeat as a member of the playoffs, but to say that there's pressure on the young driver, well, that's an understatement. Coming off the first top 5 of his season at Dover, Byron needs to have a strong run, and it really could save his season. Maybe his career, depending on how the next year goes or so. For how his Cup career at Daytona has gone so far, the odds don't look great. Aside from last year's second place finish in a rain-shortened Daytona summer race, Byron has, never even scored a top 20. What Byron needs most is for drivers behind him to have problems and not win. Either Jimmie Johnson or Matt Benedetto needs to have problems for him to make it. With it being a Daytona race, this scenario is possible, but it's also possible that he might just wreck out in the first lap, so you never know. Now, we get to those who are just below the cutoff line. They're on the other side of the coin of desperation. Starting with 7-time champion Jimmie Johnson. Johnson's final season has been a tumultuous one, and being only 4 points out, Johnson is within striking range of the playoff cutoff. After a successful weekend at Dover, Johnson has momentum on his side as well. And Daytona isn't the worst track for Johnson either, as 2 of the last 3 races there, he's had top 10s. He also has had 3 wins at the track. With all things considered, he could actually outpoint the 2 drivers ahead of him, or he could just pull off a miracle victory. Basically, he'll make things interesting if he's given the chance. The last driver who has any shot of getting in on the points is Erik Jones. Jones has had a disappointing final season at JGR, punctuated by his 50-point deficit to the playoff cut line right now. Jones' career at Daytona is a sporadic, successful one. In each of Jones' 3 full-time Cup seasons, he's had 1 race in the top 10, while in the other race, he was very subpar. With an 18th place run in the Daytona 500 this past February, one could say that he's due, but that in no way is a certainty. Really, Jones either needs 2 of the 3 in front of him or all 3 drivers to have problems, or just go out there and win. Either one are possible. Now, aside from the 5 who I've talked about who can get in off points, there are 12 more who can get in off of a win. While they all technically have a chance to win and get into the playoffs, realistically, there's a few of them who really are the heavier players in this. Chris Buescher is one. He has consistently been a threat in the top 5 and top 10 at Daytona in the past couple years, and with that kind of consistency, it's only a matter of time before he puts himself in position to win. As could Michael Mcdowell. Mcdowell is an amazingly efficient driver at Daytona, no matter the equipment. He's almost ensured to run in the top 15, not DNF, and just stay alive out there. And at Daytona, that's what you need to do to stay in contention. Another contender that could really actually make it off wins would be Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I know it's a meme of him crashing, but it's true that he is currently one of the greatest superspeedway racers in the sport. His biggest obstacle is just going to be himself, not putting himself in bad positions out of desperation. Another winning superspeedway driver that could be a threat is Matt Kenseth. Kenseth has a playoff waiver, a capable car, and nothing to lose. Not to mention that he has a great drafting partner teammate in Kurt Busch. And last but certainly not least, there is Ryan Newman. Newman has been really fast at the superspeedways lately. And while most remember his bad crash in the 500 this year, many don't stop to remember that Newman was actually leading the race with 1,000 feet left in it. How fitting would it be if he took home the trophy and qualified for the playoffs at Daytona of all places? There probably wouldn't be a dry eye in the house. But how will it actually go? I think that one of the regulars is going to win, probably Denny Hamlin or Kevin Harvick. Meanwhile, I think that Clint Boyer, William Byron, and Jimmy Johnson are all going to make it off points. But that's all I have to say. Now, I want to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments below who you think is going to make the playoffs. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel for more great NASCAR content. And until next time, have a good one.